Welcome, Christian Lefer with Instant Nonprofit, and I am so excited today to talk about something that's simple but super necessary and can actually help you raise additional funds as part of your fundraising program. Fundraising is really, it's not a linear process. It's not from point A to point B. It is actually a circular process, a loop. And your end of year donation receipting process and the communication that goes out as a part of it can really help bolster your ability to raise money from people in the future, from your donors in the future. And it also, there's some legal requirements and things that, and just good habits, best practices that are part of end of year donation receipting. So we're going to cover that right now in this brief video tutorial. So your end of year donation receipt and acknowledgement process is important. Now you might ask, well, maybe I already issued a donation receipt when the donation was given. And maybe you didn't, right? But most people, if they donate online, they're going to get a receipt automatically to their email, or if they drop some money off, usually someone's acknowledging that and giving them a receipt. But why would you need to give an end of year receipt, even if you've already receipted them, or even if you haven't? Maybe you're doing some fourth quarter fundraising, and this is inside this month of December, which is, really, it's December, whatever it is, it's the December 10th, it's close to the end of the year, but people donate more in the fourth quarter than they do. And corporations also have massive focus on fourth quarter fundraising. So you want to be able to do this. And for one thing, you want to meet IRS requirements, both yours and especially your donors, right? They need some information so that they can, the reason that they're incentivized to give to you is because they're going to get a tax write-off. Part of the incentive is a tax write-off next year. And if they don't have a decent donation receipt, they won't be able to meet IRS requirements. Certainly, number two is better donor relations. Everyone wants to be acknowledged for their contribution in the world, and it's super important that you bolster donor relations and maybe even have the opportunity to ask for another gift right on the heels of a donation receipt, because you're building better donor relations by communicating well. And then number three, for your own information management, there is a discipline that comes about in issuing end of year donation receipts, where you're going to be going down your list of donors, and you might go, oh gosh, I didn't even realize this person gave $1,000 or something of a major gift. And it might prompt you to just write a couple of names down on even something as, caveman as a sticky note, and make a phone call to that person, which could lead to a conversation either for them to give again next year, or for them to give again at the end of the year, because maybe they had a great year and they have a lot of, profits in their own stock portfolio. Maybe they inherited something. There might be a reason to ask them again. But at minimum, you're going to go through an exercise that will improve your information management skills. And for a small nonprofit, we're not going around spending a lot of times creating databases and really powerful ways of querying into what people have given us and what the patterns were and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a discipline that comes with doing end of year donation receipts that will allow you to be stronger as an organization today and going forward. Now, the IRS requires donation receipts in certain situations. If anyone makes a single donation greater than $250, that you're required to give them a donation receipt. Secondly, when a donor receives goods or services in exchange for a single donation greater than $75, they do need to get a donation receipt. And in that case, the donation receipt should include the value of what was given back. For example, maybe maybe there's a training program, and there's some materials that the attendee gets that are worth several $100s. It's a 4 or 5 day training. And if there are goodies that are given along with that training program that exceed $75 in value, you technically need to give them in a receipt the value of what they got back, even if it was $1,000 experience. And then you do need to be able to give a donor a donation receipt whenever they request one, right? So even though that sounds kind of random, if you're set up for this ahead of time, then it's going to be no problem for you. It's not going to be a big disruption to your day or one of your volunteers or staff to go ahead and issue a donation receipt. You're just going to be able to press the button and go. And again, we cover a lot of things that have to do with a little bit more of the accounting, the arcane ends of starting a nonprofit. This is no different. Donation receipting does not sound sexy, although I love it because I love to make fundraising requests. And it just gives me another excuse to get in touch with some of my favorite people in the world, donors. But you do need to have a habit of keeping records of any expenses, like what you spent their money on and the donations as well in Xero, QuickBooks, or in a spreadsheet. And many organizations run off of a spreadsheet for a really long time. Some organizations do that into the hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, depending on how many donors they have. But it is best to get it into a software system at the point that the organization can handle it. You've got an admin or you've got a volunteer who's good with something like that. But if you are the kind of person who is running on a spreadsheet, you're just getting off the ground, you don't really have a software program that you want to use or go through the complication of setting up Xero or QuickBooks, we actually do have something we call the house file database. It's very simple. It has a salutation, as you can see here. It has first name, last name, title, company address, phone, email, etc. And this is something you can set up. We really strongly recommend Google Sheets instead of Excel. Google Sheets is automatically backed up in the cloud, and you never have to worry about losing any data. You're able to jump back if you need to go back several versions. And Excel simply doesn't have that. And with a local file like Excel in a spreadsheet as well, if your computer goes down, your hard drive crashes, there's a fire, whatever, that data is lost forever. And the number one asset for a nonprofit generally is the database of donors that it has. Even if you have 10, 20, you want to remember the dates and not only for legal reasons, but this is the lifeblood. It is the biggest asset that your nonprofit will have. So we do have a free template house file that you can get at the end of this presentation if you're interested. And we'll give you a means to get that, either with a link below, or depending if you're watching this on a video or you're attending a webinar, we'll make sure that you can get that, and you can always request it by emailing support@instantnonprofit.com. So if you want to get a hold of the sample file, house file, what's called a house file, and that's just an old-fashioned name for your donor database, then you can get that. We'll provide that to you free of charge. So even if you are using a simple spreadsheet, you're using Google Sheets, hopefully not Excel, or you're using something that's not super robust as far as managing all your finances, you do want to make sure that your donations and expenses are kept in a digital backup. And that includes receipts. Maybe you have a phone, a picture or a phone app that you take pictures of receipts. You can easily upload those to the cloud, iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive if you're in Microsoft, or I think that's a Microsoft product, or Google Drive, which is our preferred cloud. The storage is free. Why not use it? Take a picture, email it to yourself, or take a picture and just send it to Google Drive, and you are free and clear. And most of the time you don't need to produce these records, but it's really important that you have them backed up somewhere. This slide shows a scanner, but with smartphones as good as they are, there are awesome apps that turn things into PDFs or at least pictures, and you can back them up so easily. Now let's get into the particulars of the actual donation receipt itself, the thing that you will print out or email to your donors to acknowledge their gift. There are several items that donation receipt needs to have and should have on it. Number one is the name of the organization to which the donation has been made, or to say it in a lot less words, your organization's name. Sometimes it's easy to assume that your letterhead and maybe you have your logo at the top of your letterhead or something, and that they're going to know the name of the organization, but it's important that you have the legal name of the organization in the donation receipt. Second, you need a statement that the nonprofit is a public charity registered as a tax-exempt organization under the IRS with section 501c3. It should state that on the letter, because remember, it's not just about you. with this process. It's about your donor and even your donor's CPA. And if they see all of this information on a letter that's passed along, they don't need to call and say, are you sure this is a nonprofit? The name of the donor, of course, right? So many times it's easy to kick out a receipt and there's a name and address, but it should name the donor in the receipt as the giver, right? Because maybe you're mailing it to another family member, or you're mailing it to an office or something, and that donor name is not going to be specified as the actual person or corporation who gave the gift. So make sure the name of the donor is in there. Of course, the amount of the cash contribution is important. Now, if it's a non-cash contribution, there are a couple of other things that apply that we won't get into. But if it's, let's just say if it's a non-cash in-kind donation, you're given some material, some property, something of value. The value of the material should be on there, and that should be provided. That should have been provided by the donor. But the main thing is when you get a cash, check, Stripe, online donation, whatever, just make the amount of the cash contribution on there. Now, those 4 elements are the most critical elements to have on your donation receipt. You'll see in our donation sample letter right on the screen here, we have some additional things, right? You want to communicate this. You don't just want to print a printout with those 4 things on here. It's really important that this is something, a letter of appreciation to your donor. So we put our mission on here. We put the thing that we're trying to eradicate on here as well, so that people go, oh yeah, that's why I gave the money, right? Because some people write so many donations or so many checks, and maybe your name of your organization doesn't tell exactly what you're doing with the organization. It doesn't speak to the mission. So you always want to say what the mission is. Thank you for helping us fight childhood hunger or domestic violence or whatever. You've really contributed to our mission of keeping families safe from domestic violence. And it's made a big difference in the lives of however many families. So it's important to have that kind of stuff on the letter. And what's cool here is we have a free donation letter template, a receipt template that you can get at the end of this presentation. So we're going to give you a free house file sample, and that'll be like a Google Sheets. That'll be a Google Sheets file that you can make a copy of for yourself and save in your own Google Drive, which is completely free. And we're also going to give you a donation letter template at the end of this presentation, so that you can just download a copy and either use it in Google Sheets or Word or however it is that you want to manage that. And sometimes you can marry the two. If you were to look up how to mail merge, if you're a small organization, you don't have a big fancy program to print out a bunch of form letters, what you can do is you can take our house file and you can do something called a mail merge, M-A-I-L-M-E-R-G-E. A mail merge, we're not going to teach on that right here, but there are plenty of videos where you can learn how to do a mail merge and take your database and feed all of the values in your database into those places highlighted in yellow on our donation letter template. And then that makes, even if you have to send 100 letters, all you have to do is make sure that the name is in the name column, the address is in the address column, et cetera. Connect the mail merge, push the button, and all 100 letters will go out. It makes it so much easier to manage this stuff. And yes, it might take an hour of training or learning, or you watching a YouTube video on how to do that. But once you do, you will A, feel like a ninja, and B, you'll save yourself untold hours, both this year and next year, as your donor database grows, how to do a mail merge and get these letters out without investing in any software or having to learn QuickBooks and all of that kind of stuff. So excited to share that with you. And so you can get the free training, download these templates, and a lot of other neat stuff. If you go to instantnonprofit.com and sort of poke around the website and look around at some of the free resources and training and our online boot camp, there's lots of things on there. Or wherever you're seeing this video, you can just use the links below or the link somewhere on this page that we've provided that'll bring you directly to some of those resources. So we're super happy to give you some of those things, and we want you to succeed. We're in the business of starting nonprofits painlessly, fast, easy, and without a lot of expense. But it's not about just getting a product into your hands. It's not about selling our service. We really want you to succeed. And so these kinds of videos are intended to help you be successful and stay focused on your mission and not on, bureaucratic or incredibly burdensome paperwork tasks. We want you to be out there mixing it up with the people that you're helping and the world that you're trying to make a difference in. So thanks so much. I'm going to stop the share. And yeah, that's it. That is our presentation for today. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please give us feedback, like, subscribe, etc. Do all the things to stay connected with us. And we will continue to deliver awesome, awesome material like this to you for whatever reason that you need it for. So thanks very much. Have a great day. All right. I think we're still rolling. So, all right. Thank you so much for attending today. I hope that was valuable. And what we're going to do is every month, we are going to do a training, and then we're going to do a live Q&A where you get to ask questions and then get your particular questions answered so that you don't have to, call a lawyer or a CPA or get a bunch of conflicting information off the internet. So hope you enjoyed today's training, and I look forward to sharing in the future some particular questions that might be affecting you, because chances are if someone else has the question, you do. And if you have the question, lots of other people do. So that's why we do live Q&As, and we're going to slice those and dice those and share those in a way that's really easy for you to access in the future. So have a great day. Hope you enjoyed it, and keep making a big difference out there. We're all in this together. God bless. Have a great day.